Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to do something a little different today. I decided to do a movie review regarding the Disney Pixar animated film that just came out this past weekend, Toy Story 4. I had the chance to watch it with some friends on Saturday. So I want to share my thoughts with you guys. This is going to be a spoiler review. It's going to be a short review only due to the fact I'm kind of on a tight schedule, so I might not have a lot of time to go into deep details and analysis regarding certain things I saw in the movie, but still I wanted to share my thoughts about the movie with you guys. So basically Toy Story 4 is still like the continuation of Woody, Buzz, Jessie, Bo Peep as well. She's now in this movie, and all the other rest of the toys. It's so amazing to think that this movie, like the Toy Story franchise, started back in 1995. I was only a year old. I was still a baby, and now look where we have come 24 years later in 2019. So it's amazing how for the past 20 plus years this franchise, continues to capture the hearts of many people. Disney and Pixar, props to them for creating such wonderful stories. And I think out of all the Disney Pixar animated films, you have like Finding Dory, The Incredibles, that are like at the top of the list for many people, Up, WALL-E. But I think Toy Story is like, it's the one that people will probably recognize the most because it is the one that started it all, so to say. And it is the one with the most sequels as well. But now where Toy Story 4 ranks, I probably would rank it, I don't know yet. I feel, I wouldn't rank it as my number one. I think my number one Toy Story film is still the third one, Toy Story 3. For me, that one is my number one Toy Story movie, only because with Toy Story 3, at the very end, you guys know when Andy gives his toys away to Bonnie, I was crying like crazy in the movie theater, because basically for us 90s kids, we were born and raised in that decade. It's like we kind of grew up with Andy, like in his generation, so we were able to relate to Andy giving up his toys, giving up his childhood, because now he was on his way off to college. So back then, again, when Toy Story 1 and 2 came out back in the 90s, we were still like, kids, toddlers, babies. So like I said, we were born and raised in the 90s, and now coming into the 2010s, 20 years later, we're adults now. So like Andy, he's an adult now. So I was able to relate more to that. So again, Toy Story 3 is still my favorite, only because of that ending. That scene, it touched my heart. It kind of reminded me of myself, heck, when I was a kid, I used to play with dolls and toys. I remember having my Barbie collection, my Sailor Moon collection. But then, obviously, when you get older, you stop playing with those toys, and you kind of have to pass it down to the next generation. And that is what I did. So I was able to relate to that. You're, giving up your childhood, moving on to adulthood, so to say. But there is still a little bit of, childhood inside each and every one of our hearts. But now, going on to Toy Story 4, this was a pretty good movie. I think I probably would rank it a little lower than the other Toy Story movies. I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. I still feel like the other previous 3 Toy Story movies are still the best for me, particularly the third one. But of course, you have the first Toy Story and the second one, which, like I said, are the ones that started off this franchise. So I feel like there was something a little bit about the fourth one that didn't hit it off for me as much as the other 3. That's just me. That's just my opinion. But it was still a good movie nonetheless. It didn't suck or anything like that. Okay, it was still a good, solid movie. I just preferred the other 3 more than this one. I did feel like a little bit in the middle, it got a little slow for me. I think only because, here I am going to spoiler territory. So I'm going to basically discuss about pros and cons of this movie. So I'm going to start off with the cons as to why I rate this particular Toy Story movie the lowest one. I think because in the middle, I was kind of getting a little bit bored, so to say, of the whole back and forth trying to save Forky, which is this new character that Bonnie creates in her kindergarten class, by she creates it with a spork, and adds googly eyes and pipe cleaners as arms and popsicle sticks for feet. So, and you know, there's this whole going back and forth to this particular antique store where Woody and the gang has to save him. And I find it kind of funny because there's this one part in the movie where the villain is and her little minions of this movie, Gabby Gabby, and those little scary puppets were trying to capture Woody for his voice box, and they had Forky captive. But Woody pulls the string of his voice box so that this particular girl named Harmony could take Woody. But for me, it was like, then and there, Woody could have done something to stay in the antique shop to get Forky, because at the very end, when he goes outside, he still has to find a way to get back into the antique shop. So it's like you're going back and forth from inside the antique store, outside the antique store, inside the antique store, outside the antique store. It's like, oh, like, make up your mind, you're gonna say inside or outside. That was just me. That was just me. I just noticed a lot of back and forth trying to go into the antique shop to get Forky, and then for some odd reason they had to go back out and all that crazy stuff. I also wish that there was a little bit more of the original gang. Like, yeah, you got to see like Mr. Potato Head and Mrs. Potato Head Rex, Hammy, Slinky, but they didn't really have much to do because they were just stuck in the RV. Even Jessie was just stuck in the RV. So I know they wanted to focus more on the newer characters like Forky. They wanted to give more Bo Peep a bigger role as the female lead instead of Jessie, which is fine. You know, Bo Peep really got to shine this movie. We'll get to her in a sec. Also, you have the new plush animals that are from the carnival. They were really funny, actually. I was afraid that the plush animals and Forky would be kind of annoying, but actually they worked well in this movie. I think they did their part. And also you have Keanu Reeves, the Keanu Sans, his character, Kaboom, right? So he was pretty funny in this too. So they want to shed more light on those new characters, which, like I said, is fine. I just wish that the original game also had more to do. That's just me. So yeah, so that was like my little critique of the movie. But now going into the pros of it, number one, I really love Bo Peep in this movie. She had so much more to do compared to the other movies she's been in. Because in the first Toy Story and the second one, she was in those two, but she wasn't in the third one. You know, she was basically just, I kind of want to say like a girly girl. Like, she really is, when you think about it, Bo Peep, you know, little girly girl taking care of the sheep. She really was just there as the love interest to Woody. But in this one, the fourth one, since she's been through so much, she becomes like a badass. Okay, she learns how to take care of herself. You don't see her wearing like dresses anymore. She sometimes she has like this little skirt, but could also be like a cape, and she uses her little cane, I guess you could say, to hurt the sheep. She uses it kind of also like as a fighting tool, as a weapon. So she like ups her game in this movie. And plus, you know, how movies were back then, 20 years ago, are different than now. You see more, I guess you could say, female leads and whatnot, and, you know, plus the whole Me Too movement. So things have changed in the past 2 decades. So they really upped Bo Peep's character. It would have been cool, though, to see Bo Peep and Jessie have like a little, like, you know, cool action scene or something like that. Kind of like in the Avengers Endgame, where all the female superheroines come together and, you know, they're in that one shot. It would have been cool for, like, Bo Peep, Jessie, Mrs. Potato Head. I'd heard in there too. So that would have been cool. But other than that, I really like Bo Peep in this movie. And since she's been through so much, she kind of opens up Woody's eyes, like, kind of saying, like, you okay, like, it's nice that you have a child and you want to take care of this child and whatnot, but there's going to come a point where you can't be so clingy. You know, obviously kids move on, they grow up, and you have to learn to deal with that. So she really opens up Woody's eyes regarding that, and I like that about the movie, because Woody has always been, like, he was always the leader of Andy's toys, and as you can see in this one too, he tries to be the leader of Bonnie's toys, but he realizes that the whole dynamic is different. It's not the same. Bonnie is not Andy. So he has to learn to adapt to that. So going on to Woody, he learns so much in this movie. He really goes through, like, you know, a change, so to say. I'm going also into this regarding Woody. I kind of wish, this is also a little bit of a con too, I kind of wish there was more, like Woody and Buzz did share scenes, obviously, but I kind of wish there was more of a, like a, how can I say it? Like a more like a friendship, like a romance friendship kind of thing, because I don't know, I just wish there was a little bit more, but other than that, they worked well when they were trying to say Forky and whatnot, but I do wish there was a little more Woody and Buzz kind of, like, I feel like they needed like a particular scene to like make their friendship more heartfelt before we got to the ending, because let me tell you, when we get to the ending, oh boy, when you see all these little pieces happening throughout the movie, like Bo Peep trying to like open Woody's eyes up to make him realize, you know, life, so to say. Even when Woody was having his conversation with Forky while they're trying to get to the RV, Forky brings up an interesting point. He's like, oh, you miss this Andy. You act like your purpose has been fulfilled, so to say. And then Woody felt left out when Bonnie would never pick him to play. So, and then plus the whole scene of when Woody is like, his hands are on the box, and then he's debating if he should let go or not. So when you get to that ending, it felt like Avengers Endgame all over again. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, I feel like 2019 is the year of endings. I mean, to start off, you had How to Train Your Dragon 3, The Hidden World, where Toothless, the dragon, and Hiccup say goodbye to each other. You had Avengers Endgame, where, like, Black Widow and Iron Man die, and Captain America is old, so they say goodbye. And now you have Toy Story 4, where I couldn't believe it, where Woody decides to be a lost toy. He realizes that Bonnie will be fine, and that, you know, he decides to be a Bo Peep. He realizes, kind of like what Forky said, his purpose has been fulfilled with Andy. So it's like he kind of sees his new chapter in life as something different. Not to be a toy to only one child, but to help other children find their toy, so to say. Because he was Andy's toy. Now he wants to help other children find their toy. So basically you see Woody and Buzz say goodbye to each other. And it was just like, oh wow. I thought that Toy Story 3 was like the end when Andy gives up his toys. But now I realize with Toy Story 4, this is more of the end of, you know, of the toys themselves, the friendship between Woody and Buzz, them saying goodbye to each other. It was like, whoa, wow, okay. I'm telling you, 2019 is the year of endings, and it's like making me sad because we grew up with these characters over the years, over a decade, so to say. So now that everything's ending, I mean, 2019 is the last year of this decade, everything's coming to a close. Again, like I said, How to Train Your Dragon, the first one started in 2010. Now the trilogy ended this year in 2019. The Marvel Cinematic Universe, you know, with Iron Man, it started back in 2008. Now, over a decade later, it ended basically this year. And now Toy Story, yeah, it started back in the 90s, but to see how... It's funny because the third one came out in 2010 with Andy saying goodbye. And now in 2019, it kind of ends with the toys saying goodbye to each other. So, yeah, I mean, the one, like I said, I don't have enough time to go into deep detail of everything, but it's the ending that really shocked me the most of this movie. And it's kind of funny because when I saw it, when Woody says goodbye to his friends and realizes that Bonnie will be okay without him, and he realizes that now his new chapter in life is to be with Bo Peep, and like I said, to help other children find their toy. It kind of reminds me, I don't know why, but it reminded me of Captain America in Avengers Endgame, where Cap says goodbye to his friends and goes to be with the woman of his life, Peggy. Kind of the same thing like what Woody did, you know. Woody says goodbye to his friends and goes to be with his love interest, Bo Peep. And they even twirl around like if they're dancing. It's like Cap and Peggy, so all over again. But yeah, that's just something I've noticed. It's like kind of like how Cap, his purpose was fulfilled and fighting this war, Infinity War. He's able to go back home to be with Peggy Carter. Woody, his purpose was fulfilled with Andy and making sure Bonnie got these toys, so now he could be with Bo Peep. It's like both of these characters, and they're both leaders as well. Both of these leaders fulfilled their purpose, and now they get to, like, you know, I guess you could say rest and be with the love of their life. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. So again, I kind of wish, like I said, I kind of wish the original gang was kind of more in the film, because I felt like when they said goodbye to Woody, it would have even had deeper meaning. Because I got teary-eyed, but I didn't ugly cry like I did in Toy Story 3. So again, like I said, if there were more scenes, like more heartfelt scenes of Woody and Buzz, and more scenes of the original gang helping out Woody trying to get Forky, then that ending would have been more heartfelt for me, and I would have been like crying my eyes out. I guess that's what it was. I kind of wish there were more scenes, heartfelt scenes of that, so I could cry and cry in the theater, but I didn't get to do that, you know. I wanted to ugly cry, but I just got teary. That was it. That's just me. I'm pretty sure some people did ugly cry, because, you know, we grew up with these characters for so long, and to say goodbye, it's hard. I mean, it's basically your childhood. Now you're an adult, and you're seeing your stories come to a close. But anyway, guys, that was my mini spoiler review of Toy Story 4. Again, sorry if I was all over the place and I couldn't go into more detail as I wish I could. Like I said, I'm just kind of on a tight schedule, but I did want to share my thoughts with you guys about this. Again, let me know down in the comments below what is your guys' favorite Disney and Pixar movie, and also let me know which of the 4 Toy Stories is your favorite. Comment down, you know, in the comment section below. Let me know. Like and subscribe, and as always, you got a friend in me, guys. Take care. Bye.